Hey, I'm Supats, lifelong solopreneur. Now living my life with only one passion to help solopreneurs to launch their digital products on fast track so that they can be profitable as fast as within 1 week, and they want to scale, they can join the membership. And as a bonus, I show them how they can sell their digital products all over the world using affiliates. Without further delay, let's get started. Welcome to New Beginning Inspiration for You podcast. And today we have a special guest as our promise, someone who can inspire you, who can add value to your life and your business. Today we have an artist who was struggling, but now he is thriving creative entrepreneur. So he has a lot of things. He has lots of things to tell you and educate you. So without further delay, let me invite Paul. Paul,
Yep,
Paul
that's
Pape,
right.
right? This is how we pronounce. Okay. So Paul, welcome to New Beginning Inspiration for You podcast, and anyone who can inspire entrepreneurs to start and scale their business is actually welcome over here. And we really blessed to have you, and we want to know more about you, your story. How did you get started into this business? Because I really get a rare chance to interview artist turn entrepreneur on my
Excellent.
podcast. So this is a great chance, and I really want to utilize it.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's believe it or not, the statistic is for artists, about 95% of them do not pursue art as a career once they get into the real world because they don't understand how to be a business. And so I was
No, actually. Okay, sorry to interrupt you, but I want to tell you I have been to many museums in Europe and also India, but Europe especially, I found most of the artists they made their money after they were gone. So when they were, it's a great art. Means the art is actually alive hundreds of years after they are gone, but they saw real money only after they were gone. So I totally agree with you. Sorry, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt, but I wanted to really
yeah,
agree with you.
that's unfortunately the fact that they don't recognize the talent until it's gone, which is sad. So what I did is I was one of the fortunate 5% that figured out how to be a sustainable business while still being a creative. And so I've been doing that for the last 20 years. I started off in theater as a theater designer. And then when I got out of graduate school and I started doing it full time, I was in that position where they just said, hey, just go out and do it. And I didn't really know what to do with that. And I found myself floundering. And so I decided to kind of pivot and decided to make um, basically gifts for other people. I've always been a gift maker. When I was a kid, I'd make little things for people. And I had a friend of mine ask for something to give his current significant other as a gift for Valentine's Day. And he fortunately put it online, and it got a lot of accolades, and then basically allowed me to do that full time. And just by posting more stuff online, I was able to do that. But what I realized during the 20 years that I've been working on it, and I've had the opportunity to work with companies like Disney and Universal Studios and Nickelodeon here in the States, is that creativity is and idea creation is one of the most valuable things out in the business world. And the actual production of it, being figuring out how to do it, is pretty universal. Anybody can figure out how to make something, but coming up with the idea is the difficult part. And there are so many people in our world who have these great ideas, and they usually come either from necessity. They're working on something and they're like, oh, I can figure out a way to make this easier. Or they just have like a brilliant spark of inspiration in the shower, in the car, or some other place while cooking. You know what I mean? And so, but they don't know what to do with it. So they just have this idea, and sometimes they cobble something together and they sell it to friends and families, or they just use it themselves. But those who have the opportunity to kind of put it out into the world, they can help to solve a problem that is more universal than they believe. The issue is that unless you go to school for entrepreneurship or for business, you don't understand necessarily the rules that go into making it. And so there's a lot of mistakes that are made along the way. And for the last 8 years, I've been teaching people how to take those ideas and turn them into an actual business and what we need to do to make that happen. And what I found is that a lot of the creative people who come up with these brilliant ideas, they don't understand the terminology, or it bores them, and then they kind of feel like it's more of a job than it is this passion that they're after. And so what I did is I created a book series that allows you to think about your business and yourself in the business as a character in a game, and that it's an adventure and it's more fun. And so going through this book, you do a lot of introspection, but then when that's done, you have the ability to go out and gamify or become a character in your own game of life. I have a catchphrase, which is business is an adventure. Don't be a non-playing character. You want to be in your own business. And so that's what I've spent the last few years developing. And so now we've got it out there as a set that you can purchase. And it's helped a lot of creatives, hundreds of creatives, actually be able to turn their ideas into an actual viable business, either a full-time business or even a side hustle, which everybody's kind of getting into these days.
So, I just have a couple of points from what you said. First of all, you mentioned about the school for entrepreneurship. Okay, even if you go for school for entrepreneurship, they help you teach how you can manage other people's business. They may, because I know many of my friends, they did MBA, and MBA curriculum was how to manage other people's business. They never teach how you can start a business. I haven't found any school yet. Okay. And second thing, actually, you mentioned about Gamify. So I'm really curious to know more about Gamify, because the gamification, I know only one, that is in the school. That is school means not the school which I mentioned before, but it is another school that platform for memberships, and there they use gamification for engaging the members to take more action. Someone who became actually member of a membership and they just sign up and then they do nothing, so they use gamification so that these people are more active and engaged in the community. So tell me more about your gamification.
So if you're familiar with a role-playing game, this is where you create a character and you, through the use of storytelling, you go on an adventure. And what I found is that a lot of people now, via our mobile devices or the internet, we're all very familiar with gaming. And I'm a child of the 70s, so I grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons, which is a tabletop role-playing game. And in it, you would create a character sheet, and then somebody called the game master or the dungeon master would lead your character through a series of adventures. And you, as a participant, actually have to make decisions based on your abilities to help move the game forward. And so what I did is I rethought business in the same fashion. Instead of there being a dungeon master, there's a game master, which is myself, or it can be self-led, so you can be your own game master. And what we do is we have you create a character sheet, which is your business model. And every person who runs a business, whether you're a solopreneur or you work with a group of people, have strengths and weaknesses. And the idea is that you recognize what your strengths and weaknesses are and find other party members or people to help you with your business who help to bring up your weaknesses and to balance out your strengths, so that you have a very well-rounded party to go out into the world and, slay the business dragon. And so what we do in my gamification version of it, in the Game Master, in Gamify Business, is that we have you sit down and you think about your idea for business. And I like to start by asking two simple questions, which is, what are you passionate about? And then once you know that, is, what do you do different with that passion than anyone else? The answer to that question is where your business should be. That's your business seed, your idea right there. And they say that the riches are in the niches. So the more narrow you can get with your idea, the more likely you are to be successful at it, rather than trying to throw a wide open net. And so what we do is we figure out what that niche is, and then we build your business plan around it, or your character around it. And then we go out into the world and we find the opportunities, which are your missions or your adventures that you go on, to help to broaden out your business and make it more successful.
As you are telling me more about your program, I am already thinking of people to whom I can refer to you, because today morning I had talked with couple of my friends, and my one of my friends, she said, I want to do something, I have no idea what to do. And I was telling her, you find out what is the passion you have and what you thoroughly enjoy doing it. And also I was just giving her ideas, I was giving her the direction, but I didn't have any system or model as such for her to guide. Means exactly how she can do that. Means I was just telling her what she needs to do, but I didn't have any vehicle for her to go to her destination, and you have that vehicle. So I cannot actually wait to collaborate with you, because it looks like, because I work with entrepreneurs and people always come up with this kind of problems, and I really mean, I tell them, but I really don't have any particular program as such, but you have it, so I can surely refer them to you. Thank you, no
I
doubt
think
about
it
it.
would be great. And
Yeah.
the book actually comes with two systems. There's the book that actually walks you through all of the ideas, and inside that book, anytime I ask you to do something, I give you a personal story that connects to it, because again, role playing is all about storytelling, because we as humans remember things better through story. And if I'm asking you to do something in the book, I give you a reason as to why. And a lot of times it's because I screwed up. I made a mistake in business, and I don't want you to make the same mistake. And so it's a lot of learning opportunity.
Absolutely.
And so then you also have a workbook, which you fill out. And when you're done filling out the book and going through the entire gamification book, then you actually have a business plan that's ready to go. So I like to say it's ideation through completion. And then when you're done, it has a 90-day plan of action, which will get you to start earning money immediately, which is what I love about the thing. You don't have to sit and ponder it and then do it all in theory. It's actually a practice that you can go out and accomplish immediately.
No, that is so great, because when I started my digital program, people told me the real money you will see in your digital business is only in the third year. And I really didn't like those statistics. Means who has patience or even resources to, yeah, means give away 2 years just like that, But you are telling them, yeah, you can see money in 90 days. That is really a great strategy. And another thing you mentioned about the stories. Stories, of course, people can relate with stories, but also stories actually connect heart to heart, and people take decisions based on heart, and then logically they just justify the decision they have taken. So the stories are very much important. And also why someone needs a guide, because then they tell, okay, what mistakes they didn't work, it didn't work. So then the person who is following that particular advice, they get a shortcut, because it's okay, good to learn from your mistakes, but it is wiser to learn from somebody else's mistakes. So it's a great strategy, no doubt about it. So who is your really ideal
So my
customer?
ideal
So someone who is just thinking of starting a business, or they have to be artist, or who is your
well
ideal customer?
while I started out as an artist, what I like to say is my ideal client is a creative. I like the term creative better because you can be an accountant and be creative. You don't have to be somebody who puts paint to canvas or have to be a sculptor. As long as you are creative, and most entrepreneurs that I know are fairly creative people because they want to break out of the normal corporate lifestyle. They want to do their own thing. And so my ideal client is somebody who is either starting off their business or who has a smaller business that's not doing as well as they think it should, because they are creative minded and not necessarily business minded, and they need a different approach that helps them to understand what they need to do to make their business more successful.
So what kind of challenges you faced when you started your own
The biggest
business?
one is the one that there's two of them. It's where do I find customers, and then how much do I charge? Those are always the two
Okay.
questions that I get asked the most. The first one,
And how did you
how do I
solve
solve
them?
them? Yep.
Okay.
So the first one is, where do you find your customers? And I want to break a myth here, and I love to do this on every show that I'm on or anytime I do a live event. I want to break the myth of social media. We don't need a million likes and a million fans to be successful as a business. The truth of it is you need 100 super fans. That's it. Because if you have
Yep.
100 people who are buying from you consistently, that's enough to make a living. You will not be a multimillionaire doing this, but you can live off of the money that you're making from it. We can always expand from there, but the reality is 100 is all you need. And with 8.3 billion people on the planet, and the internet, you can easily find 100 people who share your passion. So that's the first one. So marketing and finding the people, just know that you don't need to find millions. You just need to find 100. And they're everywhere. And so find your niche, like we said earlier, riches are in the niches, and then market to those people in particular. And then as far as figuring out what to charge, I have a very specific methodology that I use, and it's in the book. But basically, we assess your skill level, and then it's about putting these things together. One of the biggest misconceptions with creatives or entrepreneurs who are running their own business is that they don't charge for labor because they feel that that is an expense that they have to give away for free because they're running their business. But the reality is we all need to charge for labor, and it will inflate your price. But we need to get over the fact that as artists, and especially here in the United States, art is not necessarily viewed as a worthwhile career. It's one of those things that is a frivolous adventure, which is why we have this starving artist trope. And what I want people to understand is that no, there's value in art. The world revolves around it, be it from reading books to watching movies to the art that we have or the textiles that we wear. All of that is done by an artist or a creative who is going out there to try and earn money. So we have to pay for that. And so I have a scale that it's covered in the book, but basically you just assess yourself and your skill level, and then you give yourself room to grow. And then as you grow and develop as a creative, your hourly rate goes up. Your material rates stay the same, your profit stays the same. But the one thing that always will change as you get further into your career is what you charge for labor. And hopefully the better you get at it, the faster you become. So you need to update your hourly rate so that you're staying on par with where you're at and how to move forward.
So, in designing this program, what are the mistakes you did?
What mistakes haven't I done? The big ones that I run into is don't give away your work for free.
Oh, yeah. I think this is, I think, almost every entrepreneur
Absolutely.
does. Yep.
And I've fallen into that multiple times. I actually tell a story within the book about the time I went and I was so eager to break into a new field. I was getting into commercial design, and I met with a grocery store chain, and they were interested in doing an ad campaign. And they had an idea that they floated to me, but I had done my research because I was super eager about this job. And the way that they were going to approach it didn't hit their demographic, which is something that you have to know as a designer. And so I had actually pitched, I said, as a grocery chain, 85% of your customers are women. And so instead of having an animated bear as your mascot, you should have a woman who says, this is how I save money for my family. And I had drawn an image of my wife, and I had said, somebody like this. And they said, thank you. That's a really good idea. We'll get back to you. And they never got back to me. But six weeks later, I actually found a newspaper that had my wife's image on it. And then it started running commercials where they had taken my idea and ran with it, but they didn't pay me for it. And so I had litigated against them and lost because the judge didn't find it in my favor. He said, you didn't invent women, and that's just an idea. And then as I was leaving, the owner of the grocery store pulled me aside and said, and this is why you never give away an idea without an NDA.
Yeah, and especially if you don't have a contract, means basically everything means if there is a contract or something like that, means we just want to help. Help is important, no doubt about it, but we also want to feed our
Correct.
family, right? And it's always really, many people are really against businesses making profit. And I say, okay, the business which you love, their products and services, they should stay in the business. And if they don't make profit, how next time when you want the same product or service, if they are not around, how it's going to help you also? So yeah, profit in business, it's really vital, and many times people are really against. Oh, okay, means yeah, she's my friend, she should give out for free, and that kind of attitude is really really wrong. Means you have to support each other, and there has to be some energy exchange, right? And if there is energy exchange, the person who buys, who pays for it, they take action. If something you give away for free, means basically they may not even value, they put it on the shelf, or they will misbehave, and they did like the grocery chain what they did. So either way there has to be energy exchange, no doubt
Absolutely.
about it.
And you have to make sure that they, like, when you do undervalue your work, it has a tendency to not be appreciated. When it's valued correctly, the people who actually want it appreciate it because of its value. And unfortunately, the biggest thing that we have to exchange rather than, our time is money, and our money is earned from
Oh yeah,
time. And so when we want to
yeah,
part with that, we have to be willing, there has to be a level of engagement with it, a level of connection with it to make us want to part with that. And when we undervalue ourselves, then that means that the people who receive it don't value it to the degree that they need to.
yeah, absolutely. So, how did you find the passion and purpose for your own project? Because you help other people find their passion and purpose, but how did you find for
I've always
yourself?
been a self-starter, so that's helped me a lot. I love kind of being in charge. The longer I'm doing this, and I'm raising three boys of my own, the more that I recognize that I always kind of fought against having a normal job or doing it the normal way. And so that self-leading has always been a benefit to me, but I understand that that's not universal. And so for me, I love a good challenge, and I want to take the time to actually dissect a problem and see the best approach to it. And sometimes the best approach is not necessarily the way that's always been done. Sometimes you've got to mow your own path, kind of do it a different way to be the most successful at it. And it's challenging, and sometimes it feels kind of lonely, but that the reward from it, from the success that you find in it, is so much better than when it's just handed to you, because you've earned it through hard work. And so really for me, it's about problem solving, and I just love the thrill of being able to figure it out.
So, you're talking about actually entrepreneurs, those who are creators. And I do work with entrepreneurs, those who are creators. And they are passionate about their offerings, their service, and they are really great at creating it. But when it comes to sales and marketing, they freeze, and they feel, okay, I want to have a business, but can I avoid sales and marketing? So I want to know what is the best way, means which is the best way work for you in your sales and marketing for your own
the
business.
the best way for marketing my own business is to be, one, really passionate about the stuff that I create. I love what I do. I'm my ideal customer. Like, when I'm working on something, I'm like, would I like this? Yes, I would. And so then
Oh
that
yeah.
helps me to, so I'm putting, like, I hate to say it, but I'm putting a lot of love into my work because it's something that I'm passionate about. And so with other entrepreneurs, it's when they really put themselves into it. You have to know who you're marketing to. We would all love to be Coca-Cola or Nike and be able to sell millions of products a day to random people. But the reality is, until we're that big, we've got to really know who we're marketing to. And so you need to sit down and think about, who is the person or the company that is ideal for the thing that I do or the thing that I make. And you've got to really, really dig down into who that is, to the point that you should make up their name and know what they do on the daily, so that when you go to market to them, you're understanding their pain points, which is a technical way of saying, what is it that drives them to want to get what you create or the services that you provide. And if you don't understand the thing that's going to drive them over the edge, from having to figure it out themselves to finding someone to help them do it or finding a product to help them do it, then you're never going to reach those people. And that's actually one of the very, after we figure out what your idea is for your business, that's one of the first things that we do, is we figure out who your ideal client is and why they would want the thing that you're doing or selling.
Absolutely, yeah, because you get paid for solving their
Yep.
problems. So that's it. And yeah, for me also, every offer I create, I always ask myself, am I sold on it? If someone had offered this to me in that stage, whether I would have bought this or not. And if my answer is no, I don't give life to that particular offer. Yeah, because that's the main validation. No doubt about it. Absolutely right. So how do you find work life balance? Because that is another challenge I feel most entrepreneurs face, because they quit 40 hours of job and start their own business, end up working 80 hours. And as a solopreneur, entrepreneur, they wear so many hats. It's a really not funny. Means it's a really sure strategy to
It
burn
really
out.
is. This is so Gamify Business is actually, I think, my fourth business that I've started. And when I first started my businesses, I was in my 20s, had all the energy in the world, was newly married, didn't have kids, so my responsibilities were low. But now I'm 50 years old. I'm starting this new business.
Oh, you look good. You still
Well,
look in your
thank you. I
20s. You look
appreciate
good.
that. But
Yeah.
like starting it now, I've got 3 kids. I got a kid going to college. I've got one in elementary school, one in middle school. I've got a lot more responsibilities, more bills, and all that. And I'm tired faster. So how do I that work balance? The thing is, and it sounds weird, but it's boundaries. And as you age and get into this, or when you're doing your own business, you have to understand your own limitations. You're only as good as you are when you are efficient and when you're energized. I always used to say, like, nothing good happens after midnight because you've been up all day. And so there's no good decisions being made after 12, you know? And so
Yeah, don't decide anything in
exactly.
Valley. Yes.
So you want to make sure that you have the energy to do the work. And if you find yourself at that point where you don't, stop. It's okay. We push ourselves. We're in a hustle culture. I think everybody these days is in a hustle culture. And if we don't work continuously and push ourselves continuously, we're not doing enough. And that's not true. You can work really, really hard and not accomplish anything. So it's best to plan your time strategically and to use it to the best of your ability. And then when you need a break, take it and really just focus in on it. And I think that's a lot of self-reflection. I would rather spend an hour having a wonderful conversation with Sue here on this podcast, New Beginnings, because I feel that it is driving my business forward in a positive way and is a great use of my time, than to say spend an hour sending out cold call emails, hoping I might get one person who may be interested, but then I have to convince them of it. And it's just a waste of time. So plan your time accordingly.
No, no, it is a great strategy because I'll be publishing and promoting this episode to thousands of my followers all over. So it is better than doing one cold call, no doubt about it. Yeah, but and I wanted to mention about you said about the hustle culture and how it is hurting people. So I listened to Deepak Chopra last week, and he mentioned that the hustle culture is actually really destroying your intuition, because the great work is done always when you are actually quietly means um, at a calm place and you are just enjoying. So means this is how Archimedes actually he ran out of bathtub, because he was actually not actually in his lab and breaking his head, but he was chilling in the bathtub. Yeah, even yeah, Newton was just having fun under the apple tree, and yeah, he realized about gravity. So it is not like that they were hustling in their
No.
lab. So these are the places. So they became real creator when they were not doing anything.
And that's
So you address exactly the
it's
right
about
point.
a sense of, yeah, that quiet that happens. Like I said earlier, our best ideas occur when we're doing something that is not working, when we're in the shower, when we're driving, or when we're sitting down, we're reading a good book, or we're just sitting enjoying nature with our toes in the grass. Those moments of quiet in our mind is when the best ideas come to us. And if we could spend, I mean, there's a
Absolutely.
whole culture around the 4 hour work week as opposed to the 40-hour work week, where you actually spend a very short amount of time doing the most work, but then the rest of the time you allow yourself to be one with the quiet, and you're being, your ideas are more solid, and they're coming to you because you're freeing yourself up from all of the work that you have to constantly be doing to run a business. But I would also like to say, you mentioned fun, and I love to have fun in my business. I'm a solopreneur. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I have fun in my job every day. And the day that I stop having fun is the day I need to go find a different job. And I think that a lot of people need to understand that. Like, if the only thing that motivates you to get through your work week is the 2-day work weekend, like if it's Wednesday, 2 days to Friday, you're wasting 5/7 of your life hoping for 2 days to be able to live your life. And as an entrepreneur, I do put in 80-hour work weeks, but what I do is fun and I enjoy it. So I don't feel like I'm wasting 5/7 of my life. I might be wasting 2/7 of it, but that still allows me to have 5 days of my to myself. So I'm living a fuller life. And that's a really important thing to understand.
No, I totally agree with you because I remember my first sales page I did, and I mentioned it's fun building business. And that time I was part of many communities, so I gave my sales page for review. And then some people say, what is this fun and business? They say, if I want to have fun, I will go out with my friends and I'll have fun. I don't build business for fun. So I was wondering, if you're spending more than one third of your life, mostly half of your life, in building your business, it should be enjoyable journey,
Absolutely.
right? Then yeah, means you will actually means have fun, and it is good for you, and when you are happy you can serve your clients better. So I was wondering what is wrong, and then I gave my sales page to review to other people, and they said, yeah, they liked it, it's fine. Then I thought, okay, it is just their perspective. They don't build actually fun into their own business, and that is really hard work, so that is good for them. And I also like what you mentioned about the 5 day, means basically why not having fun on 5 day. And that's why I have a newsletter that is called TGIM, because majority people say TGIF. I say TGIM because it is a privilege to have a chance to have your own business and control your life. Means it is, how many people really means take a chance and do that, and we are taking that, and that's why I have TGIM. So yeah, so I'm really thinking I'm totally in agreement with you. I really feel as if you are speaking my language, no doubt about it.
Excellent.
Thank you. Yeah, so now if you start your business from scratch, what would you do? Means what different?
If I was to start a new business from scratch, I think any
Yeah,
business from
any.
scratch, I think the big one is I want people to learn and to love learning. I've always been a fan of school and education, and not because I want a degree, but because I want to better myself as a person. And so I think if I
Absolutely.
was to start a new business, it would be around education, but not in a formal setting. I think that most of us, once we get out of the school, we still learn every day, even though they may disagree and say, oh no, I've never picked up another book in my life. But when you're passionate about something, you don't look at it as learning. It's just the thing that you're doing, and you're just becoming better at it. But that's education. And I think if we could encourage people to want to learn more, then we become a better society, and we can elevate all of humanity through just the joy of learning. So if I was to start a new business, that is what I would center on, and which is kind of what Gamify Business does. Is it allows us to really hone in on our passions and see if we can turn that into a viable business.
Absolutely right. Entrepreneurship, it is the best self-development program on this earth. And as a young entrepreneur, you have to keep on changing and learning and becoming better. Because I see so many people, means they die with the same mentality what they are born with. Means their thinking at the age of 50 is the same at the age of 5. So I say, what happened? I mean, you had so many years in your life, you didn't learn anything, then what a
Right.
waste. And yeah, man, but you cannot even tell them because they don't know they have that problem. So anyway, means we are not here to judge anyone, but we are just thankful that we are taking a chance, we are learning, we are growing, and we are making our life better. And because of that, we can help many other people, they can make their life better,
Yep.
no doubt about it. So what is your I would like to know, what is your free resource or free advice to our audience which they can use and implement and make their
Well, I
life
do actually
better?
have a free offer if anybody wants to go to my website, and I'll give you this for your links down below. They can actually get the first 2 chapters of my book for free, which asks this one, which
Oh,
asks this
wow.
one question, which is what are you passionate about, and then what do you do that's different? And that's really the big question that we have to ask ourselves. Is I teach a lot of kids this program, and they all want to be uh, like YouTube stars or influencers and gamers. But the thing is there's everybody wants to do that. And so what makes you stand apart from it? And having children of my own,
Mm-hmm.
I ask them about, they're like, oh, I'm going to be a YouTube star. I'm like, well, what are you doing that is going to set you apart? So one of my children loves to play this game called Minecraft. And he's like, I want people to come and watch me play
Mm-hmm.
Minecraft. I'm like, well, then you need to find something that you're doing with Minecraft that no one else does. And so his big thing is he loves to build beautiful stuff, and then in 30 days he blows it all up. I'm like, that's a great lead for getting people to watch your show. They get to watch you build it, but then they get to watch you destroy it. And he loves that aspect of it. It's like, how can I creatively destroy this thing? And so I'm like, that's great. And so it's really, if I could give any advice, it is, find that thing that you're super, super passionate about and your specific angle on it. And then you've got yourself a business.
Absolutely right. And yeah, you have to stand apart because people say, okay, the health, wealth, and happiness or relationship, those are really in demand niches. But hey, those are really crowded too. And unless you stand apart from your competitors, yeah, means you don't have any chance,
Yep.
no doubt about it. Thank you. So I have one question for you. What is the one question which I should have asked you, but I did not?
One question you should have asked me, but you haven't. I think the biggest question that people ask is, um, how did you get how did you become successful as an artist? And I think the best answer for that would be to, in your life, bend, don't break. I know a lot of people who have become so rigid in their ideation or their planning and their strategies that when they encounter an obstacle or when the world wants to shift, they stand so rigid that they break. Whereas in my life, the thing that has saved me over and over again is the fact that I'm willing to bend to go the direction that the art wants to lead me. So when I'm working for companies like Disney or The Tonight Show, it's only because they have seen that I'm adaptable and can change. I don't sell one thing, I sell the ability to make anything. And I think that's a valuable lesson for a lot of people is don't be so rigid in your life, be able to bend and kind of go with the flow, and you'll find that you may not end up where you thought you were going to go, but where you end up is more fulfilling.
Now, that is a really valuable lesson because you have to be flexible. And as the world is changing, you have to change. And if you are not willing to change, yeah, then of course you will be
Yep.
broken. And why would you like to be broken? So, no doubt about it. So, if someone wants to work with you, where they can find you, and what are your offers? Do you have one-on-one program? Do you have group program? How and where
Well,
they
you can
can
go to
find you?
gamifybusiness.com, and I'll send you that link as well. And that's in their contact form on there, and it asks you all of the questions that I would need to know the answers to help you out. I do offer one-on-one, small group. I do live sessions online as well as in person. I pretty much any aspect that you want. But I also sell the books, which can be self-led. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money on a coach or a consultant, then you can just buy the book and walk through it. And it's like I'm there talking to you. It's just in written form. And so I have because honestly, I want everybody to be able to take advantage of this system, to be able to better their lives. And so I tried to make it accessible on as many different levels as I can. Now, obviously, working
Thank
one-on-one with
you.
me would be really nice because then I can help. I've done this before, so I give some really good advice with it. But if that's out of your budget, or it's not something that you can do in the moment, then just buy the book and then walk through it. And the great thing about the book is I have an online community, and I don't like to gatekeep information. If you have a question, you can literally email me, and Paul, will be the one who actually replies to you. I have no problem helping people to help themselves.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I really like this tiered approach, because if you are just going to focus only on the high ticket one on one and all, then you are losing chance to help other people who are not ready for it. And this is really great one, because when someone finishes your book and if they want more help, surely they can go for your one on one. And I'll be the first one. I really want to grab hold of your book, because I'm actually on the way to start my vacation very soon, and my vacation is really long. So I can read the book, and when I come back, sure. Yeah, means then, hey, who knows? We may work even one on one,
Yep.
no doubt about it. Thank you. I really appreciate you coming and yeah, giving your valuable time and blessing our community. Our community is our family, and we really appreciate whoever comes and adds value to our community. Thank you, and keep up the
Well, thank
great
you so
work.
much. I
Really
appreciate it.
appreciate. It's a really, I think it's totally needed for any aspiring entrepreneur, solopreneur, and even established small business owners. If you are actually stuck in your business, if you are stagnant and you want to scale, your services and your offers are the best. I think they can
Absolutely.
utilize.
Thank you
Surely.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank
God
you.
bless you.
Success stories from busy professionals just like you. As a full-time project manager and dad of two, I was skeptical about fitting another business opportunity into my packed schedule. But this system was different. The ready-made products meant I didn't have to create content from scratch. And the step-by-step implementation meant I could make progress in 30-minute chunks after the kids went to bed. I launched my first digital course in 3 weeks of evenings and weekends, and made my first sales within a month. This is the first program that worked with my real life. James T., project manager and side hustle entrepreneur.
Hey, thanks for joining us. We are blessed to have you as part of our community, and whatever way we can help you, serve you, let us know. Please subscribe and let us know how we can help you, what resources you want. We have lots of free resources and also free collaboration joint venture groups you can join and explode your business, because most solopreneurs quit their business before they launch their first products, and I don't want that to happen to you. And that's why we have special launch service where you can monetize your digitals and become profitable as fast as within 7 days. And if you want to scale your business, join our membership New Beginning Success Collaboration, where we'll provide you MRR and PLR products and collaborations so that you can scale your business with ease and effortlessly. And hey, if you want to sell your digitals all over the world, yes, we will provide you affiliates more than 200 countries. So everything is possible. Just live your dream, follow your dream, and whichever way we can help you, do let us know. Thank you and God bless you.